we present the National Examination Questions Explainer. In this lesson, we will revise reproduction in human beings. Which one of the following carries food, nutrients and oxygen from the mother to the fetus? A. The amniotic fluid, B. The umbilical cord, C. The uterine wall, and D. The placenta. The umbilical cord connects the placenta to the fetus. Blood from the mother that carries food, nutrients and oxygen passes through the placenta to the fetus via the umbilical cord. Which one of the following is not a function of the placenta? A. It allows the passage of dissolved food materials to the embryo. B. It allows the exchange of gases between the embryo and the mother. C. It prevents harmful materials from reaching the embryo. And D. It protects the embryo from shock. The placenta does not protect the embryo from shock. It is the amniotic fluid that protects the fetus from shock, distressing movements, and injuries. Which one of the following is formed first after fertilization? A. Fetus, B. Embryo, C. Zygote, D. Sex cell. The answer is zygote. Sex cells fuse to form a zygote that develops into an embryo. When the embryo develops human features, it is called a fetus. Which one of the following statements about human reproduction is incorrect? A. Fertilization takes place in the uterus. B. The zygote gets implanted in the wall of the uterus. C. The blood of the mother and that of the fetus do not mix. D. Menstruation stops after pregnancy. Fertilization does not take place in the uterus. It takes place in the oviduct or the fallopian tube. The fetus develops in the uterus. Which one of the following statements is incorrect about a fetus? A. It receives oxygen through the placenta. B. The blood of the mother and that of the fetus mix. C. The fetus receives food substances from the mother's blood. D. Waste products are removed through the placenta. The blood of the mother and that of the fetus do not mix. The following are processes that take place during birth in humans. 1. Dilation of the cervix. 2. Contraction of the uterus. 3. Bursting of the amniotic bag. 4. Pushing out of the baby. And 5. Cutting of the umbilical cord. Which of the following is the correct order of the processes? The correct order of the processes is as follows. 1. Contraction of the uterus. 2. Dilation of the cervix. 3. Bursting of the amniotic bag. 4. Pushing out of the baby. And 5. Cutting of the umbilical cord. Let us summarize the process of birth in humans. The process begins with the contraction of the uterus. The contractions cause labor pains. This is followed by the dilation of the cervix. The amniotic bag then bursts and releases the amniotic fluid. This is usually described as the breaking of waters. The contractions of the uterus push the baby to the cervix. In a normal birth, the baby is delivered through the enlarged birth canal or the vagina. The baby's head is delivered first. Once the baby is born, the umbilical cord is tied and cut. This process helps to separate the baby from the placenta. Tying the umbilical cord prevents further bleeding. When the tied part heals, it forms the navel. The remaining part of the umbilical cord and the placenta are known as afterbirth. They are released from the womb after the baby is born. The following are short notes on reproduction in human beings. The male reproductive cell is the sperm. The female reproductive cell is the ovum. The plural is ova. Ovulation describes the process by which the female ovary releases a mature ovum. Fertilization takes place in the oviduct, which is also known as the fallopian tube. When the sperm and ovum fuse to form a zygote, conception is said to have taken place. The zygote travels through the oviduct to the uterus. It then attaches itself to the uterine wall. This process is known as implantation. The zygote develops into an embryo. When the embryo develops human features such as feet, arms and lips, it is known as a fetus. The exchange of oxygen, food nutrients and carbon dioxide between the mother and the fetus takes place through the placenta. The amnion is the sac that surrounds the fetus. It contains the amniotic fluid. The amniotic fluid protects the fetus from shock, distressing movements and injuries. The gestation period in human beings is 9 months. During birth, contractions of the uterine wall cause labor pains. They push the baby through the cervix and out through the vagina.